What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again. Not done his hair today. Just a little update. Premier League, Everton signings, really. Everton have been linked with a couple of players today. One being Gus Till, Spartak Moscow defender. He's been linked to numerous clubs for a potential fee of around 8 to 10 million pounds, might be euros. Apparently he can use both feet. He's quick. He reads the game really well. So yeah, I mean, centre halves and just defenders in general, I think Everton do need players. When you're looking at Mason Holgate, John Joe Kenny, Seamus Coleman, Luca Dean, Yerry Mina, you've got 5 players there who for whatever reason will not be playing Everton games. Luca Dean, it looks like he's on his way out, which is gutting, really. I really liked Luca Dean. John Joe Kenny's not good enough. Yerry Mina's never fit, albeit he is good enough, and he's also been linked with a move away. So they're just some of the reasons. Seamus Coleman, we already know the reasons behind Seamus. So Everton being linked to defenders is good. So, Gus still fits in that bracket. He's a young lad. He's been linked with other Premier League clubs, so there's clearly interest. It's just who sort of wins that race. If not, it's just paper talk by an agent. But, he's got all the qualities that you'd want. I think he's fairly decent in stature. He can move the ball quite quickly, so he would fit the Premier League. And, it's a difficult one because I always have these reservations about signing players from abroad. I just do, because certainly when they're young, I feel like it takes some time to adapt. But that's such a generalisation. It's, you can see players walk into the Premier League who don't take time to adapt, who come up and running really quickly. So, yeah, I hope he would be in that bracket, but I always worry. However, for a transfer fee of, say, 8 to 10 million euros or pounds, it's not a huge gamble. It's not like we're spending 30, 35, 40, 45 million on a player, Koulibaly, for example, and it might not work. So, that's the positive out of all this. Everton have also been linked with Mets defender Fabian, I think it's Sentenzi. I might pronounce it wrong. Sentinese, something like that. He's a right back. So he's the sort of player that would come in, learn from Coleman and probably take the right back spot. Again, he's a very aggressive right back, more than happy to get up and down the line, deliver balls into the box, but can defend by all accounts. He's been linked with several Premier League teams as well, including Man United. So this is a kid that's got some talent. And again, I think he's young, 22 or something years old. He's been linked with moves before, this lad. He's been linked with no disrespect to Mets, but bigger clubs. So it wouldn't surprise me if he does move in the window. It would just be surprising to see where. It might be staying in, say, France, Italy, Spain, or you jump into the Premier League. And that's what I think's a worry sometimes for players, that the Premier League is just such a step up that sometimes you struggle with the figures and the competitiveness of games, and the how to be dynamic in the best way, how to stand out from a Seamus Coleman. How do you do that? But you've got to chance it in these days. There's loads of software and equipment that says players are good signings, but you never really know until they're in a shirt. Everton have also, and it looks like this deal is going to be done for around 17 million. It looks like Vitaliy Mykolenko, I hope I pronounced that right, £22 million or £20 million for the 22-year-old left back. There was a piece that I'd read from a Ukrainian paper saying that this is the next wonder kid of Ukraine. They said that this was the biggest move since Yarmolenko. Obviously, Yarmolenko was another player that was heavily tipped with a move to Everton and eventually went to West Ham. But I would say it hasn't worked for Yarmolenko, so that was a worry. However, this kid is younger. Mykolenko's younger. He seems to be very quick. He's got a good turn of pace, skill. He will absolutely fly into a challenge from what I've seen. But again, I've only seen it on YouTube videos, so don't hold me to it. But this kid's been touted as a top left back, like a top player. So Everton signing him would be a decent move. Lucas Digne isn't getting younger, but equally he's not particularly old either. Lucas Digne's been a fantastic servant to Everton Football Club. Rafa Benitez and him appear to have had fallout, and again, Rafa Benitez has won. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know yet. And the longer Benitez is in charge, the longer we're going to find out if he's right or wrong. But yeah, this kid is mega rated, and I did a video a couple of days ago, and I didn't give him the credit he deserved because I knew very little about him. But the more I've sort of watched of him and researched him and checked, this is a kid who's prepared to score goals. He can beat a man. He can cross left and right feet. He's very much like Ben Godfrey, that he will put a foot in. He really will put a foot in. He'll slide through if he needs to. And he's got that bit of bite. I've got no negatives with that. I like players who have got good ball confidence and can beat a man, whether it be a left back, a left midfield, a right back, winger, whatever. If you can beat a man and deliver a ball, that's all I'm asking. Especially when you've got strikers like Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin who can score goals. So I'm not against this move. It looks like Everton are trying to get it done for January the 1st, because I suspect Lucas Digne is off. Because it would be very weird having two quality left backs. Lucas Digne obviously being the one who stands out most, French international. But this lad seems to be really highly regarded. So we'll see. We'll see what he's got. In terms of other news, obviously we got a draw against Chelsea last night, which feels like it felt like a win. It felt like a win. It was a game that Everton expected nothing. The team, I expected nothing, and I discussed it in my reaction last night. But what it did show is that Everton lacks so much depth in this team, and I know we've got to be careful this year with financial fair play. I get that. I understand that. And I think we have been. We've got some big earners off the book at the start of the season. That will continue for next season with the, players like Gylfi Sigurdsson, who's out of contract. He'll be off the books. So that's a positive in that sense. And then you've got other players like Iwobi that hopefully Everton can move on. Lucas Digne's on a decent package. He'll be on his way. So there's players there that are going that's going to free up funds. So financial fair play gets a little bit easier for Everton. That's what we need. We've spent so much money over the last 4 or 5 years that we really are a mess. So, adding that little bit of guile and that little bit of creativity is something that Everton possibly can do in this window. I would love us to go and attack someone who can genuinely be a number 10. Or we play 2 up top and play a combative 4 in the middle. I.e. you've got Doucouré and Allen, but you've got a winger on one side and a winger on the other. Just to add some salt in there, Allen have been rumoured to be interested. Roma have been rumoured interested in Allen. Jesus, can't talk. And that would be I'm not going to say a massive blow to Everton just because of his age, etc. But we've only had him a year or 18 months, and he already could be leaving. And that's not the sort of turnover of players I think Everton need if we want to be going forward and being solid. We've also been linked with, Yerry Mina's been linked with a move away to Napoli today, which I can see happening. Yerry Mina is a very good defender, fantastic. He's our best centre half by a mile, but he's never fit. And he'll be on a big chunk of wages. He come from Barcelona. And I feel like this team that we had so much hope for, say 2 years ago, he's just falling apart. And it's gutting, but also we do need to move on. And Yerry Mina's one of those players that I would love to stay. I'd love to sign him a new deal. But I love him to play 38 games a season. And he just can't do it. So, I don't know. He's another one that I suspect will leave. So, all of a sudden Everton are really short. The positive was we had some great performances in that Chelsea game last night, especially Jared Branthwaite, who was absolutely sensational at at the back there. He was brilliant. He was absolutely not fazed at all about going up against the European champions, and he did a stunning job. Like, he really did do a stunning job. He was bold when he had to be. He was prepared to carry the ball out. And we haven't had that in a while. You know, we haven't had a defender who's had that composure to carry the ball out, pick a pass or beat a man. And I like that. I like someone who's going to get us on the front foot quickly, because one thing I would say about last night, not that I think I can complain about it, and I won't complain about it, because, you know, we were clearly down to bare bones last night, is I want to see Everton playing attacking football, and we didn't last night, but that is equally because of the personnel that we had. So, you know, if we've got defenders there like Mykolenko and Branthwaite and Ben Godfrey and a right back of some type who are attacking players, I don't want us to see, you know, be all out attack and win games 5-4 or anything like that. I don't want to see that. But what I want to see is, you know, a team that can get us up the park quickly, more effectively, a little bit clever. We don't have that. You know, we don't have that. It's very static at times. It's very obvious how Everton play. We tend to suck people in and hit them on counters attacks. You know, we could possibly have scored before we scored last night and took the lead if Iwobi could open his eyes and see Decore in the middle of the 18-yard box or close enough with only the keeper to beat, but he didn't look up. So, yeah, genuinely, it's interesting to see where we are. I think the next 6 months for Everton Football Club from January onwards is going to be pretty mad. But yeah, apart from that, everything seems to be going fairly well. The Rooney rumours have died. So happy days on that sense. So yeah, from an Everton perspective, we'll just see how we get on. But yeah, guys, I'm leaving it there. I hope you've enjoyed your little update, and I'll see you tomorrow for another one. Peace.